Maybe just taking a deeper than normal breath. Long exhale. And just seeing if there's still a lot here from the moment before, or a little bit from the moment before. Thoughts, energy flowing, moving through the body. Whatever is here for you. Just noticing it. Let's acknowledge what might still be here. And whenever you're ready, just shifting your attention, so allowing the attention to just rest right here in this body, breathing. Noticing and following the movement of the breath. And there's absolutely nothing that you need to do. The body is breathing. And just to acknowledge what might be here still from the moment before. Coming in from within and really welcoming yourself in this moment. Welcoming all of you, all parts of you. The parts of you that wanted to be here, the parts of you that were hesitant, the parts of you that could think about a million other things to do right now. Just welcoming it all. It's all welcome here. And as you notice your breathing again, just seeing how the breath moves in the body, sensing the breath in the body, the coolness of the air coming in, the warmth as it goes out into the world. Noticing the chest, the belly. Whatever the breath feels more alive in this moment. And as you sense the breath in the body, you might notice the breath being fast, or maybe it's really slow. Maybe it's deep, or maybe shallow. So welcoming it exactly as it is, noticing it. Allowing this moment exactly as it is right now. As you notice your breathing, just noticing the rest of the body, expanding your attention to the rest of the body here, the movement of the breath, maybe rising on the in breath and falling on the out breath. Seeing if you can just expand your attention to your face, noticing the jaw, seeing if there's any tightness here, the teeth, the forehead, the brow. Noticing the shoulders. Is there any tightness here, any tension? And there's always the invitation to soften these areas where there is tension or tightness in the body. However, it doesn't always happen. And so, if the tension or tightness still wants to be here, to remain for this moment, and that's okay too. Just noticing it. And noticing the moment before letting go of the tension. So being fully conscious of letting go, if that's what's happening for you. So allowing for a sense of ease with every out breath. And again, if that's not possible right now, that's okay too. Just noticing your experience exactly as it is. There might be thoughts that come and go. And that's a natural function of the mind, creates thoughts. So whenever you notice the thinking mind taking over, seeing if you can just bring your attention to the breath, the body, the sensation on your hands, the bottom of your feet, whatever feels more alive to you right now. Becoming aware if there is a sense of having to meditate in a certain way, an expectation of how things should be right now. And seeing if you can just be with things the way they are right at this moment. And every time the mind wanders, just noticing where it went, allowing your experience to inform, noticing, and that kind awareness that holds it all without judgment. And on the next out breath at your own pace, seeing if you can just open up to sounds in the room you're in, or whatever you are in this place, noticing the sounds here. Well, if you're wearing noise canceling headsets, just noticing the silence. And perhaps also becoming aware of all the stories that come with hearing. Seeing if you can just be with your experience, turning kindness towards it, softening around the stories. And without looking for any sounds in particular, but just allowing sound to come to you, to make contact with this loving awareness, noticing it, noticing the rhythm, the volume, the pace. Just for a moment, allowing yourself to emerge with sound or silence, whatever is more alive for you right now. And now noticing if there's any sounds outside the place where you're at, if you're indoors. Opening up to sounds outside. Without the story, without the label, but just noticing sound. Bringing a sense of beginner's mind, as if it was the very, very first time you ever heard it. keeping your attention alert, expanding this awareness, this loving awareness that is vast. Noticing any stories that might come up with this practice. And seeing if you can just let them go, let them pass. Perhaps the sounds that you're hearing are internal, perhaps not so much external. Is it okay to stay with your experience exactly as it is? Now just allowing sounds to fade away, to just drift into the background. Now bringing your attention to the body again and just noticing your felt experience after that. Just noticing, sensing through the body. Now really gently bringing your attention to the heart area. Noticing your heartbeat, noticing the lungs, the expansion on the in breath, the contraction on the out breath. Seeing if you can sense your heartbeat. And instead of looking in for your heartbeat, trying to find it, trying to tune into it, seeing if you can just sit here calmly and noticing if it's available, noticing if you sense it. And if not, then that's okay too. There's nothing that needs to happen that is different than your experience. Whatever your experience is perfect. So all we're doing is just seeing what is your experience, noticing, perhaps noticing the unnoticed. And now just allowing your attention to shift and bringing your attention to the palms of your hands. Noticing temperature, numbness or tingling, moisture, whatever might be here. Or nothing at all, that's okay too. And now seeing if you can allow the palm of your hand, whichever hand you like, to rest on your skin. It could be in contact with the wrist, it could be holding your other hand, it could be placing the palm of your hand on your heart, on your face, whatever feels right for you. And just sensing through this area, sensing this holding yourself with tenderness in this moment. Now bringing your attention to the right palm of your hand and seeing if you can place the right palm of your hand right under the armpit, right by the heart. And seeing if you can place the left palm of your hand right around the shoulder, holding the arm, holding the right arm. So right palm, right under the heart, right under the armpit area. Left palm holds the right arm, crossing over. And just staying right here. Noticing the touch of your hand in the body. Noticing the sides, noticing the breath. Just staying right here for a moment in this space. And from this space, just allowing the body to release any tension, any tightness, but just allowing it to slightly rock if that feels all right to you. Just allowing it to move a little bit. If this doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel, if it feels awkward in some way, then that's okay. You don't have to do this. Honoring yourself, honoring where you are, without judgment. Whenever you're ready, just releasing your arms if you're still holding yourself. Bringing your attention to your toes and seeing if you can just wiggle them a little bit. Noticing the rest of the body and seeing if it needs to move in any way right now. Perhaps stretch from side to side. Checking in with the shoulders, stretching the shoulders or the arms. Whatever feels right for you. Honoring where you are. Whenever you're ready at your own pace. Just if your eyes are closed, just starting to open the eyes. And now just bringing your awareness to the place you're in. And just noticing what's here. If you're in a closed space, just noticing the lines where the walls meet, the ceiling or the floor. Noticing any patterns that might be there. Noticing color or the absence of color. And then just allowing your glance to rest Any place in this room that might feel nourishing, just anywhere. Now you're taking a deeper than normal breath. And exhaling long, bringing your attention to the screen and noticing who's here. And then I invite you to bring your palms together and just rub them together gently. And just noticing what it feels like. If you notice if there's temperature, noticing if there's warmth. If you like to, you can do a little faster. Yeah. Now seeing if you can stretch your arms to the side to the person next to you on the screen. See if you can just touch hands. Yeah, who's right next to you? Just touch hands. Yeah. And just stay right there for a while. Just sense them right next to you. Yeah, just together here. That's right. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for being here. You're just allowing maybe for a sense of gratitude towards yourself for showing up for yourself, for doing this, for sitting here when there could be other things that you could be doing, sitting with us. Thank you. So I wanted to, let's see if I can share with you. I wanted to talk a little bit today about this sense of that might be coming up in the practice for you from time to time. The sense of wanting the practice to be different than what it is. Noticing if there are times in which you feel like, oh, there's a lot of thinking, or I wish I could just sit still. I wish I could just have my mind blank. These preconceived ideas of what the practice might be. And so just noticing if that happens for you, if that's something that comes up for you from time to time. I can tell you that it comes up for me from time to time. You know, when my mind is really busy sometimes and I sit to meditate and an hour goes by and I need another hour because I hardly paid attention to that hour because there's so much in my mind. And I noticed this need of having my mind be a certain way or having the moment to be a certain way. And so there's a sense of striving. And as you know, non striving is one of the attitudinal foundations that we practice here. And so the idea to bring this sense, it really helps me when I notice that I'm striving, that I'm not okay with how things are in this moment, that I want things to be different. And I think that in some ways, the practice of non striving in my own practice, in my own meditation practice, it kind of filters into every area of my mind, of my life. So the invitation to notice when that comes up in the practice is also an invitation to notice that maybe throughout life that shows up too, right? Perhaps it's a comparing mind. Perhaps it comes in the form of comparing ourselves to others. Perhaps it comes in the form of wanting more than what we have. It's not enough. Perhaps it's a deeper sense of maybe just not being enough that's driving that. And so there is an opportunity to notice this in our practice. Is it okay for my experience to be the way it is? Is it okay that my mind is busy right now? So that brings me to noticing when I sometimes, and last night was one of those nights, and in which, as most of you know, I suffer from, not suffer really, but I experience, because I wouldn't say suffering, but I experience chronic pain. I live with chronic pain. And sometimes it's very difficult to sleep. So sometimes I'll go to sleep and I just, pain is too much and I'll toss and I'll turn and I'm up sometimes all night. And that last night was one of those nights in which, I've learned to use this as an opportunity for practice. I'm awake already in the middle of the night, so might as well. So I tune into my body and I just notice it. And I notice that there's so much tension with the pain that comes in. And so I'm able to work through that. But I notice also that at first, before I make that decision to turn inward, to notice my experience with kindness, I notice that there is this resistance in the tossing and turning. That if I'm tossing and turning, it's because I want it to be so different. And the body's just reacting and really just moving from side to side and not knowing what to do. So this is sometimes an indicator for me of striving, wanting things to be different than what they are. So non-striving comes to me in the form of there's pain or there's discomfort, and bringing that kind of curiosity and taking care of myself. What do I need? Maybe I'll need to get some water, right? Attending to what is needed. So there's a story that I wanted to share with you, and it's called The Other Side. And you might have heard the say, the grass is greener on the other side, right? If I didn't have this pain, my life would be so much better. Oh, I wish I was like my husband that just goes to sleep the moment he puts his head on the pillow and that's it. It's always comparing. So there's a comparison that goes in. But this is, in this story, says that one day a young Buddhist on his journey home came to the banks of a wide river. Staring hopelessly at the great obstacle in front of him, the river, he pondered for hours on just how to cross such a wide barrier. Just as he was about to give up his pursuit to continue his journey, he saw a great teacher on the other side of the river. The young Buddhist yells over to the teacher, "Oh, wise one, can you tell me how to get to the other side of this river?" The teacher ponders for a moment, looks up, looks down the river, and yells back, "My son, you are on the other side." So this is from Zen Bones, collection of Zen and pre-Zen writings. And I thought it was so brilliant. Just a beautiful story that really encapsulates, I think, non-striving. So the idea with striving is to notice where we are, to allow this to inform our next step. So it's not about no wanting to get to the other side. It's about noticing where we are, right? Noticing and allowing this noticing to inform our next step. Because in the need to have things be different, we can't see the way, right? And so, yeah, thought maybe I'll leave you with that. And just maybe the question would be, where is it in your life that you notice that you strive? Where is it in your life that you notice that it's not enough, right? And maybe one more thing is, when we're striving and wanting always more, it could go also into material goods, right? Wanting more than what we have, always pursuing more. And I've shared this with you before, but maybe I'll just remind you of what I shared before, which is something that was really helpful for me to hear, which is the idea of the hedonic treadmill, in which we tend to think that if I get this car, I will be happy. If I get the bigger house, I will be happy. And the hedonic treadmill says that there is this idea of us trying to get somewhere, thinking that that will make us happy, but underlying our happiness is the same. And so what happens is we might be happy momentarily, like, oh, I got the car, it's great. But within a month, two, maybe a year, we won't even care about the car anymore. Something else will come up that we want. And so it's a never ending kind of journey. We're on this treadmill constantly trying to keep up. And so it causes much suffering as well. And so whatever it is, however it might show up for you, whether it's a fantasy of getting somewhere, whether it's in the practice of getting to this Zen place or anywhere else in what is here, just noticing it. So just noticing that for you. Thank you. Thank you for listening and for your kind attention.